Spain boasts of being the sole location in mainland Europe that has a desert. Found in the southeast of the Iberian Peninsula, it borders France northward, Portugal westward, and the focal region of Africa towards the south. The country covers an area of 500,000 square kilometers, basically indistinguishable from the size of the US state of California. The climate experienced in Spain is similar to that of California and is classified as Mediterranean, characterized by warm to hot summers with minimal precipitation and short, mild winters with occasional rainfall. Unexpected findings from recent scientific studies suggest that Spain will likely experience complete desertification over the next century and a half. It is estimated that now 31.5% of Spain is already experiencing the impacts of desertification, and another 18% is considered to be in high danger of becoming an irreversible condition of desertification. This upsetting pattern is connected with climbing temperatures and a 23% decrease in precipitation over the last 30 years, which has brought about serious dry seasons. Both of these elements have added to horrendous dry spells. The Iberian promontory was covered with old oak backwoods. Notwithstanding, throughout the few centuries, these woods have been devastated because of far and wide logging for the plunder and overgrazing by creatures. There are, as of now, 16 million hectares of land that are utilized for serious modern farming, which is adding to the quick loss of soil quality. This is a major problem. This loss of land is not only reducing food security, but also affecting the climate locally, putting the lives of a great number of animals in jeopardy, and having a detrimental influence on the health of humans. Spain's remarkable restoration efforts have led to the transformation of vast areas previously afflicted by desertification into fertile land. This achievement is particularly noteworthy, given that Spain's semi-arid regions typically experience a mere 11 inches of rainfall annually. Join us for a thought-provoking video presentation on the continuous efforts being made by Spain to turn its dry regions into healthy ecosystems and farmland that may be cultivated. In this episode, we will be focusing on one of the many fantastic restoration efforts that are being undertaken to re-green the desert. We will explore an area in Catalina, which is situated in the northeastern piece of Spain. This region has been essentially affected by saltwater interruption, soil salination, and ill-advised administration of water assets, which has prompted the obliteration of beachfront backwoods and farmlands. The salination of soil harms plants' growth, which in turn contributes to the deterioration of land and the development of deserts in areas that are already semi-arid. This problem is made much worse by the degradation of dune ecosystems, which provide the natural function of acting as a barrier between the land and the sea. Dunes are an essential component in the process of defending inland regions from the infiltration of coastal water, mitigating the effects of high-intensity storms, and acting as a sturdy barrier against the destructing effects of the interaction of wind and waves. Coastal since the 1970s, the sand dunes of Spain have been progressively degrading, and the rate of decline has quickened in recent years as a direct result of an excessive amount of tourists. The repercussions of this loss have been noticed by the local fauna, with species like sea turtles and birds seeing a reduction in their population and numerous plant species either coming dangerously close to extinction or going extinct entirely. In order to solve this issue, the government of Barcelona began a rehabilitation project for the dunes that are located close to the airport in the year 2003. Because of the mind-boggling progress of the drive, the central government has focused on carrying out a strategy that is both clear and practical across the whole country constantly in 2019. A report that was published the year before revealed after conducting an investigation of the dunes, they have experienced major enhancements over the course of the past few years. Because of this, the dunes have been successfully regenerating coastal woods as well as agriculture. As a result of my interest in this new information, I've decided to pay a visit to the location in order to see these enhancements and the methods that I've used for myself. After showing up at the oceanside, the main thing I did was make it a highlight to concentrate on the widely varied vegetation that had the option to flourish notwithstanding the extreme climate and openness. This part of the beach is considered to be the front line and consists of nothing but uncontaminated sand water. In this region, I saw multiple clumps of natural sand dune grasses growing, in addition to numerous clumps of grasses that had been mulching down and decaying for a number of years. Despite the fact that they were filling in a particularly troublesome climate, these grasses had the option to deliver their own dirt, which was moist to the touch, and had the option to retain and store water. This was a complete and utter surprise. I was walking down the coastline when I decided to go a little farther and check out the large restoration area that was fenced off with wooden poles, ropes, and warning signs so that no one would accidentally wander into it. The magnificent natural shape of the dunes, which resembled miniature rolling hills, is a monument to the excellent implementation of permaculture principles which utilize ditches and curves to absorb water. This was the essential thing that struck me when I appeared at the site. The lower lying sections not only provided some shade thanks to the tall dunes, but they also acted as collecting zones for the runoff water. In contrast with the sparser flora that could be seen on top of the dunes, which bore the brunt of the intense sunlight and were dry as a result, the dune base was covered in a profusion of verdant vegetation and greenery. It was the height of spring, and I was overjoyed to witness a plethora of wildflowers in their prime state of blooming. The colorful flowers served as a magnet for crawling insects and seeds, both of which were ingested by birds that had made their nests in the sand. The biodiversity of the area expanded thanks to the presence of pollinators, ocean turtles, and reptiles, which were all thriving in the climate. Notwithstanding the way that human exercises in the first years had really hurt the climate of the district, bringing about a significant decline in the number of living species. Spain was the most famous vacation location on the whole planet in the year 2019. Despite this, there has been a significant decrease in tourism in Spain of 40% from the year 2020. On a more energetic note, I have seen that there has been a new ascent in how much biodiversity is in the seaside locales, with new species thriving there. The yellow horn poppy is a perfect illustration of this phenomenon. It was an extremely uncommon species that is indigenous to coastal Europe. In the past, it was almost unheard of in the area, but now it is thriving in enormous numbers. The sea rocket succulent, a plant with purple blooms that is spreading along the sandy beaches, is yet another species that is progressively making its presence felt. Besides the fact that this plant has a satisfying appearance, however, it might likewise be utilized in the kitchen. The leaves of this plant are palatable and can be consumed crudely. It is a member of the mustard, broccoli, and cabbage families. Moreover, it has high amounts of significant minerals like B nutrients, fiber, and beta-carotene, which assists with settling on it a nutritious decision for one's eating routine. It's fantastic to believe that such a clearly cold climate could uphold the development of so many various types of wild plants that are valuable somehow or another. Wild borage may be seen blooming among other wildflowers. The flowers and leaves of this plant are both edible. In addition, we may eat red apples, wild fennel, wild carrots, and a variety of wild succulents. Wild fennel and wild carrots are also edible. Moreover, there are fig trees, strawberry plants, organic product trees, and almond trees that develop alongside the coastline of the ocean side. A natural food forest is gradually taking form as the dune ecosystem continues to develop and cover more land. This specific phenomenon exemplifies how life may continue even in the harshest of environments, such as those characterized by high salt levels, scant precipitation, high temperatures, and low water availability. By empowering and safeguarding the growth of nature, we are encouraging the increase of biodiversity, improving our own lives, and preventing the spread of desertification. It is encouraging to see Spain's commitment to ecological restoration and re-greening its deserts. Through innovative and sustainable practices, it is possible to turn barren landscapes into thriving ecosystems that benefit both humans and wildlife.